Are we perhaps at a civilisational moment?
It looks to me as if the West has lost confidence in itself, actually. Almost at the time that liberal democracy had become the preferred model for the world after the fall of communism and those societies that were challenging it. Rather than seeing Western civilization as an enormous success, it freed people from servitude, it gave them affluence, it provided them with individual liberty, it gave them freedom of conscience. They began to see the West as the legacy of colonialism and slavery and almost in Marxist terms, oppression. And it's really turned in on itself. And you see this with identity politics in particular. I think the flowering idea of the West was a valuable individual who had rights and obligations and could flower. Identity politics is, there's no real thing as an individual. You can be defined by class or race or sex or whatever it is. And once you're born into one of these identities, that's it for life. You're either an oppressor or a victim. And you play out your little assigned role under the new identity politics.
Os Guinness, on this program a little while ago, made the comment that he thought we were at a civilisational moment. And he sort of said in general terms, there have been many civilisations down through the ages. All of them have had an engine that's powered up that civilisation, and it's run on the fuel of a sort of a common commitment to those values. When the fuel starts to run low, there's really only three choices. You refuel, you find an alternative fuel, or your civilization falls away, which is what has happened in the past. It seems to me that we've seen a very solid rejection of the foundational thinking in the West, if you like, in our institutions. The substitutes, you referred to identity politics, don't seem to be a very good fuel for taking us forward, if I can put it that way.
Well, there'll be a fuel for taking some people forward. Those who actually believe in it and can prosper under it. There is a lot of self-interest, I think, in pushing this. But I think values are the most important thing. Culture is downstream from values, and politics is downstream from culture.
Brilliantly put.
But values is where it all starts. And I think the flowering of the Western model was largely based on the Judeo-Christian views. One of which, by the way, was that you weren't defined by your class or your sex or your religion. There's neither Jew nor Greek. This was the idea that every person was
man nor woman, slave nor free.
Slave or free. Every person derived their value as an individual because they were made in the image of God. That they had to be treated with respect because they were in the image of God. That they should be judged and held accountable as an individual in the image of God. Now, that idea, I think, found its way into constitutions and laws and eventually into politics. And the flowering moment, I would say, probably was during the 20th century. But at this moment of flowering success, technological success, scientific success, artistic success, cultural success, the West somehow lost its confidence in itself and was very, very open to a political attack and reversal. And I think that's what we're seeing now, political attack and reversal. By people who probably never accepted those values, never accepted that culture, never accepted that politics. They've come along with their own version and they've been very successful, I'd say.